Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. Now, first of all, I've got to say, well done to all of the players yesterday. What a fantastic performance against Chelsea. Arsenal beating Chelsea by 2-0. We now move within 3 points of Chelsea in 5th place. They're in 4th place still. But it was a game that we had to win, or they would have been 9 points in front of us, and we did win it. And it was just a brilliant performance. All round, every player to a man. The work rate of the players was unbelievable. The skill of the players was unbelievable. Brilliant finish by Alexander Lacazette. Laurent Koscielny playing a fantastic game. Right across the whole team, it was just a brilliant performance. And as I said, now only 3 points behind Chelsea. Significant if we are going to get back into the top 4, and also lifts a bit of the doom and gloom that's been around Arsenal ever since its January transfer window opened. It was fantastic, and I'm still buzzing about it. Couldn't understand yesterday when I was interviewing a couple of fans, not all, but a couple of fans, and they were like, yeah, but listen, savour these sort of results, these sort of wins. It was fantastic. Chelsea are a top team, and we made them look very ordinary. It was brilliant. The only downside about the game yesterday, of course, was the injury to Hector Bellerin, and it does look like a bad one. They will be assessing him today to find out exactly what has happened, but it does look bad. Unai Emery said after the game, it's his knee. And the first prediction is it is a very important injury, which sort of translates as him saying that it's going to be a very bad injury. The speculation is from a lot of the medical observers who were looking at the game is that it's not an ACL, but probably a quad tendon tear. And the prognosis for that would be that would keep him out for about 9 months following surgery. So that is a huge blow to Arsenal, because you could see one of the biggest differences about yesterday's games that is different to a lot of the other games that we had, particularly over the Christmas period, is that we had proper players playing in their proper positions, and we had defenders back. Koscielny was back. He looked fitter. He looked stronger than he has done since he's come back. And we know that he's coming back off the back of an injury that's kept him out of the club for 8 months. And he looked fitter and stronger in that game. Bellerin came back, looked brilliant in the game. You could see his positioning. He's a right back. He knows the position. He knows when to get forward. He was defended brilliantly. We are going to miss Hector Bellerin massively, absolutely massively. Unai Emery said after the game, listen, we've still got Ainsley Maitland-Niles who can play that position, who I have to say came on and done really well when he did come on. I was a bit worried when I saw him coming on, but he did really well. And he goes, of course, we've still got Stefan Lichtsteiner, and we still have even said, remember, we've still got Carl Jenkinson, who's on 55 grand a week, by the way. But he's still there at the club. So he's saying that we've still got right backs there. I am a bit worried about this Hector Bellerin injury. This is the time when you see fans moaning about transfers and spending, and I'm not going to get into the whole reason why we ain't got no money and blah. But this is where you get a bit upset, because we know now, you saw that game yesterday, we can push for that top 4 position. Ainsley Maitland-Niles done brilliantly when he's come in. He's tried his best. He's not a right back. He's playing out of position. Even yesterday, when we brought him on, I think he was coming on to play in the midfield, but was had to force to be going to right back after Bellerin got injured. Lichtsteiner, we know, we've seen this season. He's not ready. Well, he's not ready, but I think he's past his best. That's clear for all to see. When he's played this season, there's been full of mistakes and errors. And Carl Jenkinson, we all know, even though he gives his 100% for Arsenal, is not the player that's going to push us to get into the top 4. This is where Arsenal need to go out into the transfer market and buy a right back, because Bellerin's going to be out for 9 months. That means after rehab, everything like that, it could be a year before we see Hector Bellerin again, a whole year. This is where Arsenal should be going to a team like Crystal Palace and say, we want that Wan-Bissaka. And aggressively putting in an offer and getting the player. I know we can't do it right now, but this is when we should be doing that. And this is where I get angry at Arsenal, because this is where it looks like we don't operate like those real big clubs, because you know that Man United, they do that. You know City would do that. You know Chelsea would do that if they had that problem in those areas, or any of them other top clubs across Europe, but we won't. We're going to have to just get through. And this is the problem at Arsenal that stops us from really pushing on as far as we should do. But it's a bad injury, and listen, get well soon to Hector Bellerin. You know what I mean? He's been absolutely brilliant this season. I really think he is a player that has stepped up to the plate this season. He didn't have a good season last year. He had a poor season in my books for a guy of his talent. But this season, he has stepped up to the plate and he has been so consistent. And it is really sad that he is now going to probably miss, well, could be out for possibly a year. So get well soon to Hector Bellerin. Denis Suarez yesterday, you know, sent Arsenal fans into a frenzy. Now, we all know that he's the number one target for Unai Emery. Emery was asked about it yesterday, and he said, listen, we're working hard behind the scenes to get deals done, etc., etc., all the usual spiel that comes out at this time from managers. But we all know that Denis Suarez of Barcelona is the number one target. Significantly, he's been left out of the Barcelona squad to play today. Again, another hint that, you know, Barcelona are not playing him because they're looking to move him on to Arsenal. We all know about the ins and outs of the deal, that Arsenal want it as a loan, etc., etc. Suarez yesterday on social media liking several posts, not one, several posts to do with the Arsenal-Chelsea game, really dropping a big hint that he is on his way to Arsenal Football Club. The sooner they get him in, the better. As I keep saying, I would love to see him come in before that game against Manchester United. That would be perfect to bring him in before that game. So let's hope we can get that one done this week. But he dropped loads of hints yesterday that he is on his way to Arsenal with a lot of his social media posts. And I know sometimes that's not significant, but in this case, I do feel it is. Mesut Ozil yesterday on the bench, of course. We read out the team sheet before the game. There was no Ozil selected in the starting 11. He was on the bench. He may have got on. I don't know, had there not have been the injury to, say, Bellerin, where, you know, it's all tactical then. Or he may have gotten, had we not have been winning the game 2-0. But we were, and the manager opted to bring on Mohamed El Neni instead to just shore up the team and to bring us home. He didn't look comfortable on that bench, did he? He wants to be playing. What is going to happen with Mesut Ozil? I don't think you can completely judge the situation off of yesterday's game. I suppose you could look on it and say, well, hold on, he didn't start. And Aaron Ramsey started ahead of him, and Aaron Ramsey's leaving in the summer. There's still something going on between him and the manager. What is going to happen in this situation? Listen, he probably will start in the game against Manchester United in the FA Cup this coming Friday. But it's still not all rosy at the moment with Mesut Ozil. But it looks like he will be staying at the club until at least the end of the season. But it didn't look comfortable yesterday on that bench running around with his snood, did he? Also, today we can continue to be linked with Hirving Lozano. Spoken about this one yesterday. Hirving Lozano, the excellent Mexican winger, plays his football for PSV over there in Holland. Had a great World Cup as well. He's a very talented player indeed. Still only 23 as well. He's young. Now, lots of reports out there that Arsenal are putting together the funds and everything, and they're going to have a massive push to try and sign him in the summer. We need players now. But looking to try and sign Hirving Lozano in the summer. He's a very talented player. And as well, I think there'll be quite a few clubs going in for Hirving Lozano. But Lozano suits the style of play for Unai Emery. Again, another guy who works his socks off as well as being a really talented player. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with that one come the summer. I'd love to see that signing. He is an excellent, excellent player, really underrated as well. And finally, Mark Overmars is being linked with a return to Arsenal. Of course, used to be a brilliant player. I used to remember watching him, flying winger. As I said the other day, still holds the record for the player that we sold for the most money. I think about nearly £40 million we sold him to Barcelona. That was in 2003-04, I think it was. That is our most expensive player that we sold, Mark Overmars. But he could be returning to Arsenal as a technical director. Of course, there's been lots of talk that Sven Mislintat will be leaving Arsenal at the end of the January transfer window. Unai Emery saying yesterday that he's still working very hard with Mislintat behind the scenes to get some deals done for this month. But there are lots of rumours that if Mislintat goes, Arsenal would like to go to Ajax, where Mark Overmars is currently at, and bring him to Arsenal as the technical director to replace Sven Mislintat. So let's see how that one develops as well. Listen, thanks for watching the show. I'm feeling so much more upbeat today after that great win over Chelsea. However, the whole Bellerin thing has really put a bit of a dampener on it. But I think Arsenal need to go out and get a right back. Actually, what I'd love from you guys is to make some suggestions of right backs that Arsenal could go out there and get this January transfer window, because I do feel that now that he's gone, we need to replace that position. Also, don't forget my show returns on Channel 4 this coming Friday at midnight on Channel 4, the Real Football Fan Show. We've got a great show lined up for this week. Tamer Hassan in the studio, Ian Wright in the studio as well on Channel 4. It's going to be a great show, looking ahead to all of the weekend's games in the FA Cup. Thanks for watching the show, and we'll be back tomorrow.